Holocult. We all know that the internet is not a safe place, especially when you're in our line of work. We're constantly looking up nefarious conspiracies, putting out FOIA requests, looking into dropped FBI files. That's why we here in the Holo Layer trust our ISP to ExpressVPN. I know most of you are probably thinking, why don't you just use incognito mode? Well, let me tell you something. Incognito mode does not hide your activity. It doesn't matter what mode you use or how many times you clear your browsing history. Your internet service provider can still see every single website you've ever visited. That's why even when we're at home, we never go online without using ExpressVPN.
That's right. We don't need any more of our information floating around out there. ExpressVPN is an app that reroutes your internet connection through their secure servers so your ISP can't be seen with any of the sites you visit. ExpressVPN also keeps all your information secure by encrypting it 100% of your data with the most powerful encryption out there. ExpressVPN is also available on all of your devices, phones, computers, tablets, even your smart TVs. So there's no excuse as to why you should not be using something like this when it comes to protecting yourself and protecting your data.
Protect your online activity today with the VPN rated #1 by CNET and Mashable. Visit our exclusive link, expressvpn.com/hollow1, and you can get an extra 3 months free on a 1-year package. That's expressvpn.com/HOLO1, expressvpn.com/hollow1 to learn more. Welcome back to the Hollow Sky Podcast. We are your hosts. I'm Steven.
And Kyle.
And it's Monday, Holocult. You know what that means. We're here to get you through the work week. We thank you all for hanging out with us, tuning in to us, tuning in with us, to us, you know, whatever.
All of the above.
All of the above. We're happy that you're here. And we hope that your week goes well. Me and Kyle have been sitting here for the last 4 hours.
Yeah.
Procrastinating, recording, but also doing some work of something that's pretty exciting.
It is.
That you may get a little snippet of at the end of the show. So, keep an ear out for that. Anyway, today I'm diving into one of the oldest cryptids in our U.S. history here. I was kind of shocked we didn't do this one yet, but whatever. We're going to get right into it in a minute. We'll timestamp it for you, but we won't. So check us out at all our social medias, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, TikTok, Discord, Reddit. Search up the Hollow Sky Podcast. Come and join the Hollow Cult. Be part of the community. You know the drill. If you have a listener experience, something weird, something creepy that's happened to you that you can't explain, something that maybe, drop my monster can. Maybe you can explain. I don't know. You can send it to us to be featured on our Thursday show. Kyle's got the information you're going to need for that.
I do. All you're going to have to do is write your story out, shoot it over to the email, which is going to be hollowskypodcast@gmail.com. You can also call or text the holophone, which is 618-556-0837. But email is preferred. Like I said, you can reach out, and we are going to start doing interviews a little bit more. They will be on Saturdays, unless it's something pressing and what have you, and we can work something out. But our schedules have changed so much that it makes throughout the week really, really difficult. So Saturdays, when we record, we are open for interviews. So if you have something crazy, send us an email, talk to us about it, and we'll get that shit set up. That way we can start venturing into that genre as well. We got a lot of irons in the fire. We're going to keep on adding to them. Might as well, right?
Keep on keeping on.
That's right. You know what time it is.
If you like to support the show, there's plenty of ways you can do it. We got a Patreon. You can go over there and check that out. Get ad-free shows, get early shows, get extra shows, get coupons for the store.
Get Lambos.
You can get Lambos. There's going to be some stuff dropping over there that we're
hella excited for.
Yeah. I don't know if we're going to talk about it until it drops or not, because a bunch of nerds will just start doing it. So
yeah, so we got to keep it hush-hush.
Suck it, nerds. But yeah, you can also go to our website, hollowskypodcast.com, go to the store, check it out, buy some merch, rep the Hollow Cult. It's a cool thing to do. It's been going pretty crazy here the last couple weeks, so that's cool. Sooner we get through the back stock, the sooner we will create some new goodies to pop in there. You can also go to wherever you listen. No. Reel it back in. After that, you can share the show. That's the most important thing you can do. Before anything else, share the show. Share the show. Share the show. Because it helps fall on new ears, and it just helps us grow, because we kind of hit a stagnant point, kind of dropping back a little bit. We don't want to take 2 steps back for every 1 step forward. So we got to keep growing the show. But you can go to wherever you listen to podcasts and leave us a 5-star rating or review, which would be great. And when I find it, I'll shout you out when it gets here. Let me see where we are at. I think we're here. Yeah. Okay. 10 out of 10, 5 stars from our friend Killer Alex 911. A great podcast of 2 men, Steve and Kyle, discussing and exploring strange happenings of the world from paranormal to abnormal. Sit back at home or work and listen to the great strange happenings they find throughout their extensive research and learn about beings you probably never heard of before. Came from Spotify, but had to leave a 5-star review on both. Love the show. Listen to y'all constantly at work. Being stuck here on 12 hours, 6 days a week. Y'all make the time fly. Thanks for being cool.
Gross.
Yeah, I know how that is.
12 hours, 6 days a week? Dude, that sucks.
Yeah, that's been my last 2 weeks, and that's not a good, fun thing to do.
I just hope for your sake the paychecks are fatty.
Yeah, you deserve it if you're working that bullshit.
Absolutely.
But thank you for being cool, Alex, and sending us the kind words.
Yeah, thanks for not sucking like other people.
Yeah, who leave us.
Fucking GrantBot90.
What a stupid name.
Yeah, that's where I'm at.
They told us to log off and get some sleep. Well, why don't you listen to something different?
I'll sleep when I'm dead.
Yeah, we don't have time to sleep.
That's right.
We're out here doing this.
Yeah, now we're in a good mood.
So you can bitch about it.
Pick
Pussy.
a fight. Pick a fight.
Anyway, not even GrantBot is going to bring us down. So, into the Jersey Devil.
Let's do this. Let's do it.
Let's get it. So, this is easily one of the longest running folk legends lore that is probably in the United States today. Because at this point, this thing is almost 300 years old.
That's crazy.
That's a lot of deviling.
For sure.
A lot of deviling.
For sure.
So I kind of got a little history here, and then I lead into a bunch of encounters and stuff, and we'll just kind of talk about it. So in 1735, there was first, let me reel it back.
That's old, sumbitch.
Yeah. There's a place in New Jersey called the Pine Barrens. From what I know, I've never been there, but from what I've seen, it's like got a lot of pine trees and like sandy ground, and I don't know. People from the Pine Barrens are probably going to contact us and tell me how wrong I am. But anyway, it's a pretty big area. I think it's like what they say, 7 counties. But when you hear me refer to the Pines, that's the Pine Barrens. So in 1735, a Pines resident known as Mother Leeds or Mrs. Leeds found herself pregnant. Not for the first time, not for the second time, not for the 10th time, but for the 13th time.
I already don't like where this is going.
Yeah. So Leeds is one of the earliest families to settle New Jersey. So they don't know if maybe the lore came from them being so prominent in the area. People possibly started this as like a rumor, or if this is legit. Anyway, 13 kids.
That's a lot of kids.
Yeah.
Mind you.
Mother Leeds, it's not a clown car. Let's shut it down. Let's wheel it back.
A lot on the table there.
Yeah. But they were not living in the highest means, you know. It's rumored that her husband was a drunk who really didn't do his husbandly duties aside from clearly
procreating.
Helping the clown car out. So she was pretty busy trying to raise 12 kids. When she found out that she was pregnant for the 13th time, it's reported that she raised her hands to the heavens and proclaimed, quote, "Let this one be the devil."
Oh, boy.
Don't do that. Because usually when that happens, it'll probably be the devil. So she went into labor a few months later. Legend has it that it is a horribly stormy night, right? Which kind of falls in line with what's about to happen.
Yeah, it's fitting for the story.
The curse that she screamed at the heavens about her unborn child, she really didn't think of at that point. Her children and her husband were all huddled together in their one-room little cabin with local midwives there helping deliver the baby. And by all accounts, the birth went fine. The 13th Leeds child was born a normal baby. But within minutes, the curse would come to fruition. The baby started to change and mutate before everyone's eyes. Within moments, it mutated from a beautiful newborn baby boy to a hideous creature like nothing that they had ever seen before. The crying infant began growling, not growling. If I could read, that'd be awesome. The crying infant began growing at an incredible rate. It's said that it sprouted horns from the top of its head and talon-like claws that tore through the tips of its fingers and its hands. Doesn't sound cool, does it?
Not really. It sounds rather terrifying. This is like I know it's sold as lore and legend, but what a fucked up one. Because I can understand the Wendigo, the Skinwalker. I can understand the idea behind the Wendigo in particular deals with cannibalism, starvation. So they whereas we see it as a real entity, this would theorize that it originally started as an explanation to some of the thing, cannibalism, like, oh, this is a spirit that enters you, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. This one, on the other hand, I'm not seeing the pattern here.
It just feels like a curse.
Yeah, it's really fucked up.
Yeah, just feels like a curse. Legend has it that after the horns and the claws sprouted, huge bat-like wings shot out of its back, and then it started to sprout weird, like feathery scales all over its body. It said that the child's eyes began to glow bright red and grew larger and larger as its face kind of mutated and changed. It grew like a long, square snout. And then, since she was the one that cursed this abomination, the creature attacked its own mother, killing her.
Oh, dang.
Yeah, went on it. It then turned its attention to the rest of the onlookers in the cabin who witnessed its mutation and said it just went in a frenzy, clawing and biting at everything, screaming and shrieking, making just these unholy sounds as it went through, killing and tearing midwives just into pieces, maiming other members of his family and killing them. Like, a pretty good body count from what the lore says.
It would be crazy to find like an actual written account of, of this entire situation from time period.
I have some old newspaper articles. I don't know that they go back that far, but I'm going to post them to the Patreon as some extras when this drops so everybody can kind of look at them. I don't know if they go back 1735 though. That's a ways back.
That's a long way back.
The monster then knocked down the door to, I guess it wasn't a one room, my bad. They were in one room. So it knocked down the door into the room where its own fathers and siblings were hiding and attacked them, killing as many as it could before it escaped. Those that survived went on to tell the tale as they watched in horror as this beast climbed up the chimney and flew out of the home, the chimney just blowing up as it's going out. So pretty powerful.
It's so weird to like look at it from an origin story standpoint. Like this would be the beginning of a legend, and looking at it from that aspect, it's just bizarre.
Yeah, there are some other origins that I go into, but this is the prevailing one, the Leeds baby.
Because if it was an explanation to some bizarre circumstance, there's no animal out there that matches that description.
No.
You know what I mean? Because you could theorize that a bear got inside the house and killed everybody inside. It was just unfortunate, but
people would know it was a bear.
Right.
Essentially.
Exactly. So there's not a lot of room for taking the story in a different direction.
Yeah.
You almost have to take it for what it is, the account, especially if there's a lot of bodies stacked on top of it. Because you could say maybe the dad or one of the adults there went crazy, started slaughtering people, but that's not going to account for the chimney exploding.
Yeah. Yeah. And a lot of these old folklores usually have like some moral story behind it.
Yeah, yeah.
But this one, I mean, there isn't, like,
aside from don't curse your children.
Or don't have a bunch of babies. But at the time period, like that was kind of the thing to do.
Oh, yeah.
The more bodies you had, the more people you had to work and the more, you could farm and this, that.
Yeah, it was commonplace for those types of people.
Yeah. So as the creature flew out of what was the chimney and exploded into a pile of rubble, it made its escape into the Pine Barrens, where it is reported to have existed ever since. And even throughout these centuries, whatever this creature is, the Leeds Devil, the Jersey Devil, whatever it is said to reside in the Pine Barrens and still terrorize people to this day. As I stated before, the 13th child of the Leeds is the most popular story about how this devil was born, but there are many others. Another story said that the town put a curse on a young girl who fell in love with a British soldier during the Revolutionary War. She gave birth to an infant that was the Jersey Devil.
So still a birthing story.
Yeah.
Slightly different. I also find it weird in the first one that it is the 13th child.
Yeah. Which, I mean,
has a lot of stigma around it, as it is.
Yeah. Another version says that a gypsy cursed a young girl because she didn't give the gypsy some food. As the young girl grew, got married, had a baby, the birth of the first baby was the Jersey Devil. So it's definitely New Jersey's oldest piece of folklore, oldest cryptid, but it's also probably one of the oldest in U.S. history as well. Hundreds and hundreds of years now, you have people local to the area talking about instances of this beast stalking the Pine Barrens. You hear the screams from the Pine Barrens. You see it out of the corner of your eye, which makes you wonder if it's just a folklore. Like, why have the people of the area gravitated to it so much and like almost protected it?
Yeah.
Kept it alive. So if there's not something out there, then what's going on?
And all of them were birthing stories and curse stories.
Yep. Now we're going to go into some reports here. In the 18th and 19th centuries, the Jersey Devil was spotted sporadically throughout the Pine Barren region, frightening locals and any of those brave enough to traverse this patch of landscape, which was pretty much barren. I mean, it's called the Pine Barren, so anybody that went through it heard unearthly wails reported from the forests at night in the bogs. They would come across domestic animals that were just mutilated by this creature known as the Leeds Devil or the Phantom of the Pines. Over the years, the legend just continued to stack up to haunt the citizens and locals of the town. Some more infamous of these occurrences happened during the week of January 16th through the 23rd in 1909. This is the biggest spat of instances that happened. Early in the week, reports started emerging from all across the Delaware Valley that strange tracks were being found in the snow. The mysterious footprints went over and under fences, through fields and backyards, and across the rooftops of houses. They were even reported in the larger cities of Camden and Philadelphia. So these are pretty massive, especially at the time in the early 1900s. Those places are starting to boom. But the reports say that it would walk up the sides of the houses, just hoof prints walking up and over. Said it was very similar to a horse print or a goat print. This, of course, immediately sparked panic into everyone. They formed posses around town. It was reported that their bloodhounds used to track the creature refused to follow whenever they got it on the trail. They just cowered and turned back. Schools closed and suffered low attendance throughout New Jersey and Philadelphia during that week because everybody was so scared. Mills in the Pine Barren were forced to close when workers refused to leave their home and travel through the woods to get to their jobs. So it's a pretty big deal.
It is crazy that it affected so much of day-to-day life. I couldn't imagine living in a town like that, even though we are on the cusp of a time like that. But to be 100% convinced that there is a devilish creature roaming your town, walking up your houses, and like you create posses to handle this situation. Like you have groups of people that go out, whether it's to actively look or if they were like, all right, we're not moving around town unless we're in a big group of people.
Yeah, it's
type
nuts.
Like protection by numbers types of situations. It's incredible to think that's a reality that happened. It's
And you got to think back then there was no social media.
No. So it's all word of mouth travel.
Yeah.
And experience.
People seeing shit or knowing people that saw stuff. That's the crazy thing. Especially that it's not confined to one small town. Like it is exponentially out there from smallest villages to cities over in that area just exploded. During that week, newspapers published hundreds of claimed encounters with the Jersey Devil from all over South Jersey and the Philadelphia area. More among these were claims that the creature had attacked a trolley car in Haddon Heights and a gentleman's club in Camden. The police in Camden and Bristol, Pennsylvania, supposedly fired on the creature to no effect. The bullets would not pierce its skin. The other reports initially concerned unidentified footprints in the snow, as I said, but soon sightings of the creature resembling the Jersey Devil were reported throughout South Jersey and to Delaware and Maryland. The widespread newspaper coverage created fear throughout Delaware Valley, prompting more schools to close and workers to stay home. Vigilante groups and groups of hunters roamed the pines and countrysides in search of this creature. During this period, it is rumored that the Philadelphia Zoo posted a $10,000 reward for capture of the creature.
That's
I don't
a lot
even
of scratch
know.
back then.
Yeah, I'm about to do what that is now because that is a lot of money. So
I feel like that's
10,000.
a shitload of money.
We're going to do the inflation calculator here. So bear with me. I should have had this already looked up, but whatever, because this is my show and I do what I want. 1909 is worth 10,000 in 1909 is worth $344,558 today.
That's a lot of scratch.
Almost a $500,000. So
That's a lot of scratch.
yeah. Clearly, this offer prompted a bunch of hoaxes, including someone that stuffed a kangaroo with and then mounted fake claws and bat wings to it. Which, good on. I mean, can't knock them. I don't know where somebody in New Jersey got a kangaroo, but they went all out. Eyewitnesses spotted the beast in Camden and Bristol in Pennsylvania, and in both cities, police again fired on it but could not manage to bring it down. A few days later, it reappeared in Camden, attacking a late-night meeting at a gentleman's club and flying away. Earlier that day, it had appeared in Haddon Heights, terrorizing the trolley car, as I mentioned before. Witnesses said it looked like a large flying kangaroo. Another trolley full of people witnessed it in Burlington when it scurried across the tracks in front of their car. In West Collingswood, it appeared on the roof of a house and was described as an ostrich-like creature. This is my favorite part because they're just using whatever they can get. Firemen turned their hose on it, but it attacked them and flew away. The entire week, people reported that their livestock, particularly chickens, were being slaughtered, and this was the most widespread in the towns of Bridgeton and Melville. A week later, it appeared again in Camden, where a local woman found the beast attempting to eat her dog. She attacked it with a broomstick where it flew away. She's saving fire.
I love the fact that these cops can shoot it and it does fuck all to it.
Yeah.
And then some pissed lady runs out there with a broom and beats its ass and it flies away.
Yeah.
It's like, oh shit, I gotta get out of here.
It gets hits with a fire hose and it's like, no, we're scrapping now.
Yeah.
It's
pissed off lady with a broom. I ain't dealing with that.
Yeah.
I don't want that kind of evil.
There have been sightings ever since, but this spat in 1909 is definitely the biggest, which is weird because the story originated in 1735. So hundreds of years before then. Makes you wonder what made it pop off in 09.
Right. I hope that the person that faked it with the kangaroo used a real bat for the bat wings on the back of the kangaroo.
Went all out.
And you have like 6-inch wingspan on the back of a big ass kangaroo.
Now I have some older sightings here and some newer sightings, kind of ones I gathered. Most of my stuff came from the Weird New Jersey website and the Wikipedia, gathering all these different encounters. According to legend, there was this place called the Hanover Mill Works that built cannonballs. They manufactured cannonballs for the Revolutionary War and such. So this man, Commodore Stephen Decatur, went to inspect his balls. And when he got there, as he's checking them out, what does he see? The Jersey Devil flying over the mill.
It's good be practicing with them cannonballs.
What's bro do?
Yes.
Fires a cannonball directly at it to no effect.
So he hit it. He hit it.
You have to assume. Because, I mean, you have to assume it hit it if they're to no effect.
I feel like, yeah, with that statement, you definitely have to assume that it hits it.
Did it go
But imagine
through?
how fucking hard that would be to shoot a moving object with a cannonball.
Yeah.
A cannon, period. Because I don't feel like there's very good aiming devices on a cannon.
No.
It's kind of like one of them point and let it go things.
If he hit it, I mean...
Hats off. You're
Yeah.
a gangster.
He is a cannonball master.
I mean, I would give him that title if he hit the Jersey Devil flying.
That would be dope.
With a cannonball. He is a cannonball master, cannon master.
Yeah. Possibly one of the most famous people to witness this creature is Joseph Bonaparte, the elder brother of Napoleon.
Oh, wow.
Also claimed to have seen the Jersey Devil while hunting on his Bordentown estate in 1820. During the 1840s, the devil was blamed for several livestock killings. Similar attacks were reported in 1841, accompanied by tracks and screams. So the tracks weren't a one-off thing. This has happened multiple times.
Yeah.
Which is weird. It's weird.
The thing that gets me about the tracks, though, is that if it's described as horse or goat, I mean, it could be a horse or a goat.
Yeah, the only thing that's sus is the fact that it walks up buildings and onto roofs.
That aspect of it changes, but if you just saw horse or goat tracks in the snow or something.
Holocult. Summer is here. So you know what that means. Paranormal investigations and cryptid hunts abound. But before you do that, you're going to need some good clothing. So we're excited to announce another month partnering with Tecovas.
I feel like at this point, it's mandatory to have amazing clothes while you're out cryptid chasing or ghost hunting. Because with Tecovas, every boot you can expect handmade quality, first wear comfort, and timeless Western style. And nothing says like you're there for business, like walking in a pair of snakeskin boots. And with it being summer, like Steve said, they also have some sweet short sleeve moisture wicking pearl snaps that are definitely going to put you on the next level. And if you need to carry some stuff, like all your ghost hunting gear, you can use their ever-growing lineup of rugged and full-grain leather bags that are always going to get you where you need to be.
And to keep cool, they also have men's and women's straw hats. So you're definitely going to want to check them out.
That's perfect for keeping the sun off your head and getting sunburn up there.
The best way to shop for boots is at your local Tecovas stores, where you'll be greeted by the smell of fresh leather and a friendly smile. Come on in, grab a cold one, get fitted by a pro, and shop all the latest styles. I personally am waiting for the cryptid lineup, where I can get me a pair of like Loveland Frogman skin boots, maybe some Loch Ness Monster.
Oh, yeah. Imagine that Loch Ness boot.
Smooth. But until then, you can visit Tecovas.com. That's Tecovas.com. And don't go gently, y'all.
Well, I mean, there is a logical explanation for that.
Yeah. I think it led from like slaughter to slaughter. Like it went from like this one.
Then that's
chicken
weird.
coop.
That's weird for sure. That's definitely weird.
But there was a man I read, I didn't put it down in my notes here, that after a while came forward and said he was making the tracks.
Of course.
But people are like, how are you making the tracks up the sides of buildings in Philadelphia and also over here in Delaware and also over here?
Isn't it weird that there are some morons out there that hear these things and they're like, I'm going to take credit for it.
Yeah.
You know, like,
I need to be involved with something.
who the fuck does that?
I need to be part of something.
Dude, I'll never be able to wrap my brain around a moron like just wanting to, like you said, I guess be a part of it. Like you said, like, I want to be known, so I'm going to act like I faked this.
Yeah.
I don't know. It blows my mind that there are people out there that are that desperate for attention that you're not even, you're literally going to get about 10 minutes of fame.
Yep. That's all.
And then
it
it'll
is.
go away and you'll be the idiot.
The nerd.
Yeah, that nobody likes.
Yeah. You're going to be the liar nerd that nobody likes.
Because you figure most people are just going to, especially in that time, the fact that they were so scared, most people are just going to be fucking pissed at you anyways.
I missed a week of work because you're being a dickhead.
That's what I'm saying. There's no upside to claiming that you did it.
No. You're just like, get a better hobby. That's
Yeah,
what it boils
exactly.
down to. Get a better hobby. A couple more here in the Greenwich. I better say that right, or people be yelling at me. The Greenwich Township in December 1925, a local farmer shot an unidentified animal that attempted to steal his chickens. He then photographed the corpse. Afterward, he claimed that none of the 100 people he showed it to could identify it. I tried to hunt that down. I'm going to do a little more digging and see if I can't find the OG picture. You'd think it'd be out there somewhere, but I don't know. On July 27, 1937, an unknown animal with red eyes is seen by residents of the in Downingtown, Pennsylvania, and was compared to the Jersey Devil by a reporter in the Pennsylvania Bulletin on July 28, 37. In 1951, a group of Gibbstown, New Jersey boys claimed to have seen a monster matching the devil's description, and a claim of a corpse matching the devil's description arose in 57. During the 1960s, more tracks and noises were heard near May's Landing and were claimed to be from the Leeds Devil. During the same year, merchants around Camden offered a $10,000 reward, again for the capture of the devil, even offering to build a private zoo to house the creature if it was captured. So, even up to the 60s, people were adamant that this thing was real enough to put money down on the table. Which is pretty crazy.
Bizarre.
I don't know what 10,000 is. I'm about to find out. It's the 60s. I'm about to find out.
I mean, it's still a lot of money regardless.
Yeah, it's a lot of money now. Oops, not in regular 60s.
It's weird because, and I don't know where the rest of this is going to go for you.
Shoot, about 100K.
That's a lot of money.
A little over.
I'll take it.
Oh, we got to find the devil first.
Hell, I'll take the 10. But I feel like, and I almost don't want to say this because I'm such an anti-popular type of person, but with the origin story effect and the existing for long periods of time, this is one of them cases where it legitimately feels to me like it could be something on the lines of like Nephilim.
Ooh. Yeah, that would.
Or on those grounds, somewhere in that big, massive gray area.
Like something falling. Yeah. Hooking up with old Mama Lee's.
Because all of the origin stories came from birthing.
Yeah. And cursing.
So maybe it's not Nephilim in nature, but it does feel like a gross force may have done something with a woman to create this type of offspring.
Yeah. It's that's weird.
Most origin stories, if they're differing, they're big time differing.
Yeah.
You know, one will be a birthing story, one will be it crawled out of the lake, you know, fell out of the sky. Usually they're massively different origin stories, but all of the ones you were able to find all have parallels in them.
Yeah. Kind of an offshoot, but it is interesting that I looked up original drawings of the time period, the 1700s, of the Jersey Devil. And then I also found Native American drawings, the original drawings on maps and stuff of the Pisaw bird, and they are very similar.
That's weird.
Yeah, from the horns to the tail, they're both very similar.
That's weird.
I posted up comparisons a couple years ago on the Facebook page. I'll have to dig through and find them again, but they're not exactly spot on, but you look at them, they are comparable. Like, you could say that someone saw this creature on the East Coast, drew it, and then someone saw the same creature along the Mississippi River here in the Midwest and drew it, and the comparisons are close enough that it could have been the same creature or the same the same family of creatures.
Right.
I always thought that was weird once I started seeing the old drawings of both of them.
People's memory work a little different from person to person. Also, people's artistic abilities are massively different from person to person.
If I find it, I'll post it up again. Here are some more recent sightings. I pulled these. These were submitted to Weird New Jersey, and I just popped them on here because the newer sightings are cool. kind of solidifies it. So I got a few of them right here. This one's called Driving by the Devil in the Pale Moonlight. This has haunted me since it happened in 1972. I was a senior at was then Glassboro State College. I had heard about the Jersey Devil when I came to South Jersey, but being from North Jersey, a completely different world, he may add, I thought I was far too sophisticated to believe in such weirdness. One night, I was driving to Glassboro from Blackwood on Green Tree Road. At the time, the road was flanked by orchards and farms on each side. There were a few houses, and then there was hardly any development. I was completely sober and awake when I caught a glimpse of something in my rearview mirror. Curious as to what it could have been, I slowed down to take a look. It was dark out, but the moon lit enough that I had no trouble at all discerning the upright figure of a creature crossing the road from one side to the other, roughly 25 feet behind my car. The figure stood taller than a man by far and had thick haunches similar to a goat's, supporting its nearly human-looking torso and a huge woolly head. It moved heavily and didn't seem at all disturbed by me being there. I didn't linger long enough to see much more. I hit the gas and flew by Mansion Park apartments in the borough. So petrified was I that I slept the rest of the night in my car, unwilling to get out into the same darkness that had introduced me to the Jersey Devil. Never again from that day on have I ridden Green Tree Road by day or night. I haven't gotten the heebie-jeebies just thinking about that winter night so long ago. The description of that is creepy.
I think the scariest thing about it is that they describe it to where it pays them no mind.
Oh, yeah.
Like, as it's walking by, it could give a fuck less that you're there. And to me, that's terrifying because it shows that it's comfortable and it's almost like this sense of permanence. Like, this is my home. I'm the king here. I don't give a shit about nothing else.
Yeah, just disregarded it.
Yeah, like it just makes it more solidifying for me that it has existed in that area for a very long time.
Yeah, like it just can't even be bothered.
Yeah,
just,
yeah. It's a bizarre description that it just didn't, because you hear similar accounts among different cryptids and entities, but all of them, like with Bigfoot, you have this, I don't want to say like it's disturbed by you, but it has this, people almost describe it like it's attempting to get away, like it's avoiding you.
Yeah,
this description is, it's just walking by and doesn't give two shits about what's going on in any direction,
because 25 feet is not that far.
No,
especially from a moving car,
and it should easily be able to notice you.
Yeah. The next one we have here is titled Don't Ever Camp in the Pine Barrens Alone. I spent a lot of time in the Pine Barrens when I was growing up in New Jersey and had my fair share of strange experiences. When I was about 13, I went camping alone near Hampton Furnace. I had a bow with me and went looking for a rabbit dinner about an hour before sundown. Something started following me back in the trees. It tailed me back to camp and circled while I cooked my dinner. This kept up until about 2 hours after dark, and let me tell you, it was one dark night. I finally decided that my visitor had moved on, and I crawled into my tent. When I started to calm down, I heard a foot stomp right behind the tent. I got all set to jump out when this thing, whatever it was, started screaming. I would compare the volume of the scream to a large truck's horn. I couldn't decide what to do. I had my bow and my knife, but they didn't seem like much at the time. After several blasts, it just stopped. I didn't hear a sound except for the beat of my heart for about an hour. I was sure that if I stuck my head out of the tent, I'd lose it. In the morning, I could find no tracks in the pine needles. To this day, I still don't like sleeping in tents. I'd rather take my chances in the open. Which that leads to it too, because a lot of the sightings were just these weird howls and unearthly screams coming from the Pine Barrens.
It's a weird description too. It sounds like a you say truck horn.
He was just comparing it to that's how loud it was.
Oh, okay.
Not that it sounded like it, but that's how loud.
That's a weird description there.
Yeah. They said it was, yeah, I wish it would describe the scream more, but they said the volume of the scream to a large truck horn.
It being in a tent and that happening is definitely terrifying because we're weird as creatures. We would rather hear something like that and then be able to visually locate it.
Oh, yeah.
Versus having no idea where this is. Is it in close proximity? Is it 100 yards away? Where is it?
Yeah.
Like we're weird like that, where we would much rather locate it with our vision and then proceed from there.
Yeah, it's better to know the enemy because just hearing it, you don't know what the hell you got going on.
Yeah,
it'd be terrible.
I mean, it could have been right outside his tent. It could have been, like I said, 100 yards away. You don't know.
Especially to only have like mild combat weapons. I say that, comparative to what he could have had, but I'm not trying to go bow to claws with something that can take cannonball shots to the face.
That's true. It would make me feel a little more comfortable knowing that I had something like a bow and a knife like he had. But yeah, at the end of the day, it's probably not going to do a whole lot.
Yeah, I could just imagine sitting in there, knife in my hand, just hoping it did not come through that.
That's about the best you got.
I'm not trying that today.
And that's with most animals. Most animals are, if they want to get at you, they're going to get at you.
Yeah. Next, we have titled Field Trips to the Jersey Devil's Turf. As a native of Cape May County, I had the typical rite of passage trip to the Pine Barrens, the legendary home of the Jersey Devil. This Jersey girl went to Cape May County Technical High School, which sponsored trip to the Pine Barrens for good grades in certain classes. I was one of the fortunate students to go 3 times during my 4-year career at CMCT. Each time I went on the trip, my canoe was followed by some heavy-footed thing. With each step, I heard branches snap underneath its foot, possibly its hooves. Every 10 minutes or so, I could hear a deep, beastly growl that to this day still gives me the creeps thinking about it. Being in a canoe and on a class trip didn't afford me much opportunity to flee in terror, so I stuck it out for 3 years. Every year it was the same. During my sophomore year, I was pretty confident about my canoeing skills, so I didn't look over my shoulder much. I went canoeing with a friend of mine when we came across a bag that had been torn open and gone through. Around it were prints on the ground that looked like something like a horse's hoof, only bigger. Then I heard it, the cry that still haunts my dreams. It sounded part human, part beast, full of anger, pregnant with pure hate. I nearly flipped my canoe. We left, leaving whatever it was out there behind, or so I thought. It seemed to just keep following us. Every time we stopped or paused, it got closer to the river. We pushed on, and then worse came to worse as we tipped the canoe. I heard the thing running behind us. I thought for sure that we were dead. We righted our canoe and got into it as fast as humanly possible. We finally made it out to safety, sun fried to a crisp, missing all of our valuables and most of our clothes. But never have we been happier to be on shore. We packed up our bus and left. As we were leaving, I rested my head on the window and saw a little cottage. I looked at it until the bus was about to pass, and I saw a woman. She looked back at me, and I could see that her skin was torn and bleeding. After the bus passed, she just vanished. Scared me so badly I would not go into the woods for a year. I think after the first time, I'd say, sorry, school,
I'm good.
I'm good.
I'm good.
I'm not trying to get chased by a bunch of Jersey Devils.
It's weird that it happened to her every time that she went.
Yeah.
And with it, I don't know. It just gives me a gross feeling if you take into consideration that it happened the exact same way all 3 times. The fact that she's a woman, and the fact that all origin stories relate to birthing, a birthing process.
Oh, yeah, that's creepy.
I don't like that. I don't know that has anything to do with it, but that's what I feel. Because what would be the odds that 3 years running and the same thing happens to you outside of her lying? what are the odds?
Yeah, especially if you take into consideration the fact that a lot of the victims from the original encounter, the original lore, were women, the mother, the midwives.
Right.
Like, it took a lot out on them. And then it makes you wonder, like, since Leeds was such a prominent name there, they said there's still Leeds bloodline living in that part of Jersey, if that connects it as well.
Well, that's what
I
I was going to say is it makes you feel like there's some type of marker for that specific girl who got followed 3 times.
Yeah, that's creepy.
There's some type of whatever you want to call it, a pheromone, a marker of some kind that would draw it back and back and back.
Yeah, that's gross.
Yeah.
Not a fan of that.
No.
The next one we have here is the Devil on Route 9. Let me tell you of a sighting of the Jersey Devil. I was driving up Route 9 on Bayville at around 10 p.m. There were 2 cars in front of me, and they were traveling about 35 miles an hour. To the right of Route 9 is a mini-mall type building with woods behind it. To the right is all woods. All of a sudden, I saw this big thing run across Route 9. It looked like one of the classic pictures of the Jersey Devil. It had no tail, no fur. Its ribs showed, and it had a long, odd head with short ears that laid flat. It looked almost 10 feet tall. I noticed it because the first car stepped on its brakes, as did the second. When I looked ahead, I saw this thing galloping across Route 9 and straight into the woods. I was not really scared because it did not register yet. I stopped to mail something at the mailbox about 300 feet from the main road when I saw a child's shirt, shorts, one sneaker line on the ground. I mailed my letter, ran into my car, and laid rubber on the way home. I was certain that I'd seen the Jersey Devil. No one believes me. They said it was a deer. I have never seen a deer that big, that fast, or that weird looking in my life. What really creeps me out is that 2 other people driving in front of me stepped on their brakes, so they must have seen it as well. That had some dark connotations there that was just kind of left unsettled. I hope it was just somebody dumping some trash or something there with the little kid's wardrobe.
Yeah, that's not good.
Because that's
not good. And it's, we always downplay these types of like sightings where somebody sees something crossing the road or something in regards to a car, and you catch a glimpse of something. Everybody downplays it, and rightfully so, because as far as like a story is concerned, it's not a whole much of a story. But you put yourself in that individual's shoes, that's gonna be creepy as fuck.
Yeah,
because it's way out of the normal, and when you're driving, you're so hyper focused on driving that things like that throw your anxiety and your everything right through the roof.
Yeah. I almost wish that whoever were in the 2 cars ahead of him were to pick up the Weird New Jersey book and see that and then corroborate it, because that would be awesome. I got a couple more here. The Screams of the Jersey Devil. I actually have 2 stories about the Jersey Devil. The first one is my own experience. As a little kid, my parents took my family camping every summer in the Pine Barrens. One night, as we all slept in a big tent, I woke up to the sound of, to me, sounded like a woman screaming. It was a blood-curdling scream over and over again, but I was the only one awake. I thought, being the naive child that I was, that a woman was being attacked by maybe a wolf. I don't know where I got that conclusion, but it must have been from the screams. No one believed my story ever. As I got older, I became more interested in the Jersey Devil legend. Many of the stories were people talking about the screams that they hear in the pines at night. As they described them, I got chills because I knew exactly what they were talking about. A few years ago, I was talking to my uncle, who's from Pomona. He compared what I described to what he has also heard growing up in the pines. This led me to my other story, which is his experience. He said that when he was growing up, he had this dog that would stay by him at all times as he played out in the woods and the fields around his house. One day while he was on his porch, he could hear those same screams coming from deep within the woods. His dog ran out of sight after the noise. Apparently the screams got louder. The dog scrambled back to the porch with his tail between his legs and never left the porch again. As hard as he tried, my uncle could not get his once faithful dog to follow him into those woods. So maybe this isn't any hard evidence, but it sure as hell is weird. There is no doubt in my mind that something exists out there. Next, we have the Jersey Devil makes headlines. According to the Asbury Park Press of October 1988, a man who lived in the Howell Township encountered the devil in 1981. He described the creature as having a furry body, huge feet with 3 toes on each one, large teeth, and stood about 6 feet tall. Alan McFarland, chief ranger of the Wharton State Forest over 20 years, relates a story that happened in 1980. He had gone to a farmer's house near Jenkins, where he came upon 4 pigs that were laying dead close to their pen. The backs of their head had been completely eaten out, and there were scratches all over their bodies. There were no tracks or blood on the ground. The ranger had no explanation as to what could have happened. Camping with the Jersey Devil. In the late 1980s, a couple of my friends and I took a camping trip to the Pine Barrens. I was unaware that we were headed into the home of the Jersey Devil. We headed out on our bikes and did our share of partying that night. The next day, while everyone was asleep, 3 of us decided to hit the trails a bit earlier than usual. We walked about 100 yards away into the woods when my bike stalled. I looked and found... Oh, my bad. We were about 100 yards away in the woods when my bike stalled out. I looked and found that my friends had stalled out also. At first, I thought it had something to do with the terrain or maybe something to do with the nearby power plants. 50 feet away from each other, we tried to start up our bikes when suddenly from out of the woods was the most horrible piercing scream. It sounded inhuman, like something being tortured. Once back at the camp, they asked us if we heard the screams earlier. They had heard them too, 4 miles away. That night, we headed to the local town because we ran out of booze. We went into a bar and I ordered a drink, still in shock from what I'd heard that morning. The bartender asked, "Hey kid, would you see a ghost or something?" After I told him the story, he smiled and said, "It looks like you met our little friend." He then asked us to come out back. He showed us a tin garbage can that was shredded to bits. It looked like the shreds were made from something that had 3 claws. I'd never returned to the Pine Barrens since, and I do not plan to go back. So, that is all of the encounters that I had. Again, a lot of these last ones here were from the Weird New Jersey book. Definitely go check that out and pick it up if it interests you. Weirdness, man. The screams. I don't know.
Any more with screams, I'm very particular. I have high reservation of doubt when it comes to just screams because I've heard a lot of interesting things in the woods. I've also heard a lot of things where I'm like, what the fuck is that?
You did hear a lion.
I did hear a lion once, and that is a true story.
And it was actually...
it was 100% a lion.
Yeah.
In Illinois. But there are a lot of animals out there that you don't see and hear every day that make some very bizarre noises.
Foxes?
Yeah.
Foxes are terrifying.
Right. And that's what I mean. So I'm not saying that these people aren't right in their assessment of the noises. I'm just a little bit more skeptical of them, knowing that a lot of animals out there can make some really fucking bizarre noises. You know, we're used to, like where me and Steve live, we're used to some of the noises, moos and shit like that. You know, dumbass cows out there mooing. But I would bet money that there are people out there right now that if they were in the woods and heard a cow, they would shit themselves.
Yeah, especially people like that have never been out of a city.
That's what I mean. There are people that don't know what corn looks like.
Yeah.
So
people think a cow like sounds like moo. No.
It sounds a little different. Not that it's scary by any means, but I could see people becoming terrified of it. So I'm a little skeptical of that. But the fact that an entire trash can was shredded to bits
sucks.
Well, that's a little different.
I've heard
a little different.
I've heard either a bobcat or a mountain lion when I was traipsing through the woods, and it did. It sounded like a woman screaming.
Yeah, it's weird.
It sounded like. I mean, it was enough to make my like blood run cold. Like, oh shit, someone's being attacked. And then I thought, well, probably not because I'm in the woods, and it's probably going to be me getting attacked.
Yeah, by a bobcat. Or a cat of any nature, which is terrifying in itself.
Yeah. But yeah, that's it. That's the old Jersey Devil. lore. Anybody in the Pine Barrens has been out there that has an experience, let us know.
Please.
If you've heard it, if you've seen it, if you've seen tracks, got pictures. I'm going to try to hunt down that picture from 37 because that would be cool to see. I hope it's not lost to time, but it probably is. Another little fun fact here that in 1938, the Leeds Devil is designated as America's only official state demon.
That's weird.
That's
weird and creepy.
wild. Wild. But yeah, I'll try to post for our Patreon members. We always do extra things, kind of little episode enhancers when we get a chance. I've got a bunch of the news articles from way back when I will post up over there. So keep on the lookout for that. And for our Patreon members, we have another little snippet. We're going to let you guys hear like a 15-second little clip. But you have to be a Patreon member to get the full track. So get ready.
It's our new project.
Yeah. We're not going to go into it. We're just going to leave you the snippet. Dark Array Media presents to you Casket Breath.
Summer concerts, pool parties, chill nights under the stars. We're stocking up our closet so you're ready to look your best for all of it. At Plato's Closet in West Ashley and North Charleston, we're buying all things summer. So bring in your tees, tote bags, sandals, sunglasses, and more. We pay cash on the spot for gently loved name brand looks. Plato's Closet is the go-to destination for trend-forward teens and young adults who support local and shop sustainable. Visit Plato's Closet today. Plato's Closet, located in West Ashley on Sam Rittenberg Boulevard and North Charleston on Rivers Avenue.